and coordination to advance research and development of technologies to help improve the human condition. It's only through the continuous expansion of our fields of interest and the convergence of these fields of interest that we can strive to solve the world's greatest challenges. Our members, half of whom are outside the United States, are a diverse international community filled with technology professionals of every race, every creed, and every color. All are welcome, all are respected, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, or gender. Next slide. IEEE is unique in that our members create so much of the value in IEEE, whether it's in writing papers, editing the journals, doing the publications, working for free in standards, making policy visits to Washington, D.C., and other global capitals around the world. It is all done by volunteers and members. Our engaged and inspired members make IEEE a unique, respected voice. IEEE as an institute is centered on our members who create the value of IEEE, guide the organization's direction, and allow IEEE to have such a strong impact on the world. It was my experience as a member that encouraged me to devote my time and energy to IEEE, and I know that every volunteer I meet values being part of our technical professional community. The strength of IEEE is built from the bottom up. Those who attend local meetings share their knowledge and experience and help with the heavy lifting of coordinating and communicating IEEE activities. These activities are the ones who make IEEE strong. Next slide. During my years of IEEE service, I've had the great pleasure of interacting with and supporting our students and young professionals. I believe that students and young professionals are the key drivers of tomorrow's innovations and are integral to advancing technology for humanity. You are also an integral part of IEEE's core strength. Your enthusiasm and sense of camaraderie help boost our efforts to build strong partnerships and coordination and cooperation worldwide. And IEEE is committed to empowering and inspiring the next generation of engineering and technology leaders. Our students and young professionals are the leaders who will play a pivotal role in helping IEEE continue to flourish. I hope that as university students, you've had the opportunity to interact with your local IEEE student branch. Your student branch can help you advance your education and get your career off to a good start. Participating in your student branch can help you develop leadership and interpersonal skills that are essential for building a rewarding career. For example, I don't know if you've used Resume Lab, but it can help build your resume, and the IEEE job site contains current openings of interest to IEEE members. Student members can also participate in regional conferences, workshops, and competitions, including student paper contests and scholarships. IEEE Young Professionals, which encompasses all members from recent university graduates to experienced professionals and entrepreneurs, is a highly diverse international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers working to evaluate their career goals, polish their professional image, and create building blocks of a lifelong and diverse professional network. By staying a member of IEEE after graduation and throughout your career, you can find resources along the way to build your skills, raise your visibility, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Next slide. Next slide. As students and young professionals, you may hold different perspective regarding the value of membership and how you want to participate in a membership organization. At IEEE, we're always looking for opportunities to improve how we engage with our members, and we want you to take on the roles and responsibilities that matter to you. Our students and young professionals have an important role to play in the success of IEEE, and there's a place for you in IEEE's leadership. The energy, innovation, and fresh perspectives you offer are essential in these changing times. As technology continues to reshape the world we live in, we are seeing more shifts in workplace structures, more globalization, and the convergence of multiple and diverse fields of interest. Our young professionals who can lead cross-functional, cross-sector, and cross-cultural initiatives will be the true game changers. These will be the leaders who will address technology's toughest challenges while building a rewarding career for themselves. These will be the leaders whom others will follow and emulate. You are our future. IEEE's opportunities originate in our strengths, our powerful, widely recognized brand, our technical leadership across a breadth of disciplines, our expanding societal and humanitarian reach and global impact. As a person who believes in the power of technology to benefit humanity, I find this to be a very compelling vision for our future. Next slide. As technical professionals, we need to maintain currency in our disciplines and professions to remain relevant and competitive. This is important in an increasingly dynamic and ever-changing. Hello? Okay, thanks. As technical professionals, it's important to maintain your currency in what's now a competitive and increasingly dynamic and ever-changing environment. It's not enough to merely know your field of interest. You must be able to work cooperatively, communicate your findings to others, and be creative in your efforts to solve problems and move technology forward. To be successful, our innovators and leaders need strong communication skills, teamwork, critical thinking, imagination, emotional intelligence, and entrepreneurship. Next slide. So diversity is interesting to talk about in a global organization like IEEE. It encompasses gender and geography, but also work sectors such as academia, industry, and research labs. But it also includes ethnicity and race, which in terms of underrepresented groups can be different in the United States compared with Asia, Europe, and other parts of the world. It also encompasses age. There's been a movement to attract more young professionals to IEEE and to make sure that they're fully engaged and we're providing compelling benefits, because you are the future of the organization. Inclusion is making sure that all of our diverse members are receiving the full benefits of IEEE membership. For example, when women engineers are excluded from participating in IEEE leadership roles or not being invited to be distinguished lecturers and speakers at conferences, that means they're not getting the full benefit of their membership. If female speakers and panelists are underrepresented at tech conferences and are not asked to serve as the event's general or technical chair, they are not getting the full benefit of their membership. If individuals from specific regions are rarely nominated for major awards, they are not getting the full benefit of their membership. At IEEE, we are committed to maintaining a culture that is diverse, inclusive, and respectful. This includes efforts aimed at improving transparency and accountability, encouraging strong and diverse leadership, and inspiring all members of the engineering community to be responsible for reducing and preventing harassment. Diverse organizations are more creative, perform better, and have higher member satisfaction. Attracting, retaining, and engaging diverse members is essential for IEEE to thrive. IEEE can make things better for the next generation of diverse technologists. Throughout my time with IEEE, I have made interacting with and supporting our young professionals a priority, and I'm very pleased to see how diversity and inclusion is a second nature to our profession's next generation. You can be that strong leader who discusses the issues, identifies the opportunity, and strives for solutions. Next slide. Oh, I'm presenting. So it looks like somebody else took over. Okay, thanks. Thanks. All right. All of us have a responsibility to help our future by training and mentoring tomorrow's leaders, regardless of age. Mentoring can be a very rewarding way to grow professionally and expand leadership skills. It can be incredibly rewarding for both of you and help foster important interpersonal skills that aren't put to use in tech industry. Seek mentors and sponsors for yourself. Mentors can help see things in a way that you might not have thought about. Mentors have been there many times before, and they can help advise you on your career and advocate for you. They can make sure that your work is visible and influential to people within your industry. So one thing I want to talk about today is reverse mentoring. That's something that's sort of new and catching on. And it's an option that matches more senior executives with younger people to help what's I'll call the older generation stay current and informed about new technologies or trends. For example, a YP or a 20-something employee may introduce a senior executive to social networking or some other new technology. Considering the speed at which technology changes, this mentoring model is becoming a lot more popular and very important. So consider introducing reverse mentoring to someone that you know. It's a way to get you exposure and to help you develop both a mentor and become a reverse mentor. Next slide. So networking is one of the most powerful and useful acts you can undertake to advance your career. Your network can help build you visibility, connect you with peers and superiors, and create new opportunities. Keep in mind that networking is about being genuine and authentic, building trust and relationships, and it's long-term. And it's also about how you can help others. It's not just about how you can help yourself. Develop a strong network and continually look for ways to diversify it. Sometimes it's about pushing your boundaries about what you're comfortable with. Opportunities to network with people arise at any time and any place. Never underestimate an opportunity to make a connection in person or online. Networking can be a rewarding way to grow professionally, expand your leadership skills, and can be incredibly rewarding to you. I practice what I preach, and if you want to network with me, I'm on Twitter and on, oh gosh, I'm blanking. But I'm on a lot of the social media sites, so look for me. It's Susan Cathy Land or SK Land, so you can find me. I'm not on Facebook or LinkedIn, but I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Be careful though, you will leave a record. So be careful what you say when you're on social media. And always remember that you're representing yourself and to be professional. Collaboratech, which is the IEEE online community, is a great place where you can network with other IEEE professionals. So consider IEEE Collaboratech. All right, and to stay active. A small active network is a lot more effective than a massive dormant one. Next slide. Okay, staying current. So I don't know how many of you know me personally, or but my career's over 30 years. I think that was said in the intro. And my field is computer science and software engineering. And when I started, it was right at the phase shift where computer science went from team programming to personal programming. And it was super important to stay current. My whole career, it's about being current. So you have to stay current. If you think that you can sort of sit on your laurels on some discovery for even a period of a couple of years, I think you're in the wrong field. It's critical that you take personal ownership of your education and career advancement, and that IEEE is really a key part of that for me because of the resources they provide. And also the networking opportunities. Some of the leaders in the field, all you have to do is reach out and ask them if you have a question. And I've developed some long friendships. When I have a question, I can just reach out and I'm immediately in touch with some of the leaders in the field. It's just a great resource. But there's also some opportunities that are provided by IEEE for studying, teaching, training, and also the cross collaboration, right? If you look at some of the societies and councils and the forums and conferences and high value information that are provided, you just really have an opportunity to continue your education as a lifelong opportunity. But keeping up with emerging trends and technologies is key. So you want to take advantage of that. Identify skills, don't just take a passive role. Identify skills you want to develop. Pay attention to emerging trends, create goals, and master skills. Learning doesn't stop once you're out of the workforce. If you see, once you're out in the workforce, if you see something your company offers, take advantage of that. Many companies offer continuing education opportunities that they pay for. They provide training for employees. You know, if your company offers in-house classes, even if you're extremely busy, which I know many of you are, take advantage of that once you're out working. And what's another way to learn is to just step away from your desk and do something, see something, read something, listen to something, a podcast. You know, there's always opportunities to learn. Next slide. So my years of IEEE membership have reinforced for me the relevance and importance of professional associations, not just IEEE, but just professional associations in general. There's a significance in being part of a group of people with a shared purpose that goes beyond one's own personal interest and current career. Whether your focus is on aerospace, microwaves, computers, nanotechnology, there's a community for you within IEEE. Within IEEE, you'll find like-minded people engaged in work of a similar nature. They will help you push your own personal boundaries. That's what I have found that has been extremely important. It has allowed me not to get comfortable in my own career. You'll also find different perspectives and approaches to tackling the grand challenges each of us encounters in our particular discipline. You'll find young women and men like yourselves just starting to explore their passions within your profession, active engineers currently working in industry and government and academia, and retired professionals with a wealth of required knowledge to share. And I mentioned before, you'll find resources that can help you in attaining the advances you want to make within your professional career. You'll find all of this and much more that will be of value to you in your life and work. Next slide. So thank you all for joining me this evening. I guess it's evening where you are, it's morning where I am. But I encourage you all to get involved, volunteer, be an active participant, whether it be in a professional association, IEEE, humanitarian efforts, continuing your education. The energy, innovation, and fresh perspectives you all offer are essential in these changing times. It is your future. Take an active part in it and build it. Thank you. So I guess if there are any questions.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am. If anyone has any doubts or questions they want to ask, they can write in the chat box so that we can say tell it to ma'am. Ma'am, I have a personal doubt myself. Would you please tell how student branches? Hello?
Yeah, repeat it.
Yeah, so can you please tell us some ways in which new student branches which are just starting out, how can they make more networks and how can they help organize events if they have very few IEEE members starting out with? Any ideas or suggestions or something like that?
Right. So you should have so there's a hierarchy within IEEE and MGA, which is the operating unit that the student branches fall under. So you should have a section and then a region. So I would first reach out to the section and then ask them for help and organization. There's also, they can provide you with funding opportunities. And if you're not getting a response from your section, I would reach out to the region director. Was that helpful at all?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your insights.
So you, you have a section chair and a region chair. And if you don't get help from them, then I would go up to the director. Just keep going up the hierarchy until somebody helps you. And if you don't get help from them, email me and I'll figure out how to help you.
Sure, ma'am. Another question we have is there any internship opportunities or work opportunities that students can avail from IEEE when they're still students?
Okay. So one of the things, one of the things that I want to do in my year is a global internship opportunity, like a matchmaking. No, right now there's not. But I think what we need to do is provide that. I heard that from many of the YPs and students when I traveled last year. And it makes sense to me that we have a database online where students could apply and then companies could offer opportunities. The problem we have right now is that there are internship opportunities that IEEE USA offers, but students that are not in the US can't apply. And there are internship opportunities with IEEE corporate, but again, limited to the US, and does not support our goals for diversity and inclusion. So we need to do something, and that's one of the things I have on my agenda.
Sure, ma'am. We're looking for any more doubts. If anyone has anything to ask, ma'am, think of it as a networking opportunity. Okay, we have a doubt. Through IEEE, how can we contribute to social problems? Any suggestions?
Yes, so there are a number of ways. There is I don't know if you've all heard of SIGHT, S-I-G-H-T. It's a humanitarian, local humanitarian programs. You can, at the local level, think of an initiative and apply for, you develop your own site chapter, and you form a site chapter, come up with an idea, apply for funding, and do your own activity. So I would encourage you to just go to IEEE website and look for the site part of the website, and get more informed about it's SIGHT. That's really the best one. I think you guys would be interested in. There's tons of stuff going on in India. There's also an initiative called MOVE, which is in the US right now, but it's expanding to India, which is humanitarian disaster relief. So I'm excited about that.
We are as well. We'll look into site and get you the links later, students. And we have another doubt here, ma'am. Can you please tell how can IEEE brand ambassador title help students?
Repeat the question.
How can IEEE
Student
brand
ambassador?
ambassador title help students?
Oh, so anything that you have, in my opinion, anything that you have, if I were hiring, I'm a hiring manager right now, and if I saw that on a resume, it would show me that you have marketing experience, that you are a leader, right? So to me, it shows that, to me, it would help in hiring. That the main thing is that you put it on your resume. That's how it would help.
Ma'am, there is another question. How can a fresher will develop a research idea in IEEE platform?
So you can't really develop, so you can't apply for money, grant money from IEEE. What you can do is publish your research findings through IEEE. So sometimes people get confused and they think that IEEE provides grant money, you know, but they're not a grant funding agency. But you can publish your technical findings through IEEE. I don't know if that's a clarification.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. And another question is that how long does it take to publish a paper in IEEE?
Okay, so there's many different avenues. We have, it depends if you're publishing through a conference. If you're, you know, I've published in conferences, it's taken a couple weeks. You know, it depends on how ready your paper is to be published. If you followed the format guidance, you know, if your paper is really rough, it could take a long time, you know, multiple rounds, going back and forth with the editors. If the publication you're trying to submit to has a very low acceptance rate, it could take a long time, you know, multiple rejections. So it just depends. That's my answer. You have to, it depends on where you're trying to publish, if it's a conference or a very rigorous publication. If it's open access, one of the open access journals, it could be a lot quicker. The publication acceptance rates and the timelines are well known for each publication. So, you know, and they vary. But it can vary from, you know, week to month. Pardon me? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one last question over here. How can a fresher survive in IEEE? I think it's better stated as, how can a fresher make most of IEEE? If I would rephrase.
Yeah. So how can a new person make their way and be successful in IEEE?
Yes, ma'am. I guess that is the intention of the question.
Okay. Yeah. So IEEE can be very frustrating. It's a huge organization, and it depends on, people have varying degrees of success depending on what part of the organization they try to break into. My advice is, if you find yourself in a place where you're not having success, maybe try another part of the organization. But if you really want to be successful, I'll tell you a story that happened to me. So I came up through standards. And standards at the time, IEEE Computer Society standards, I was like 30 years old and the only woman on this committee. And the committee, and it has nothing to do, I'm just giving you the scenario. There were a bunch of really nice but very old men. And when you go to the committee meetings, they would say things like, well, 1410, 820, 230, and that's how they talked. They talked in numbers of the standards. And they didn't tolerate any kind of mentoring. There was no, I wanted to participate. I wanted to be there, but I had to learn. I had to read. What I did is I read every standard. I created a big spreadsheet. I wrote all my notes. And at the next meeting, I was prepared. And when they sat there and they said, well, 820, blah, 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 I said, well, the PARs do this time. And what you really mean, I think, is this. And they thought I was the standards genius, right? And what I was doing was looking at this spreadsheet because I'd done all my homework. And then they accepted me as part of the group. So rather than get frustrated and mad and think that they were excluding me because I was the only young woman, I did my homework, right? So that's the kind of stuff you have to, people at these IEEE meetings are extremely smart. They're brilliant folks. And they're there to get the work done. They don't want to support whiners. They don't want to support people who think they're there to break in or deserve to be there. You have to do the work. You have to be accepted because you want to be part of the crowd. You have to show them that you're there to do the work. And once you do, you're accepted, right? So I eventually became vice president for standards for the Computer Society. But it took a lot of work. So my advice is that figure out where you can contribute, you know, do the work, and then all of a sudden you'll find yourself in a leadership position. You know, these committees in IEEE are desperate for volunteer leaders. And if you come in with a humble attitude, willing to work, they'll accept you. That's my advice.
Thanks for the anecdote, ma'am. It really makes sense.
There are a few. I will caveat that there are a few pockets still, even though we're working on diversity and inclusion. And bullying. There are a few that are just not good and open. And if you find yourself in one of those situations, just leave and go somewhere else. But those pockets we're getting rid of those.
Thanks for the anecdote, ma'am.
No organization is perfect. Yeah.
IEEE has become much more warmer and homelier as the years have gone on. But what you said is really true, that wherever we are, we need to show our work, and we need to work hard and work smart in order to make our name be known. So that applies everywhere. And as you told us through your story,
Correct.
yeah, so we appreciate you telling it, and we will try to follow in your footsteps and try to make our name in IEEE and everywhere else. Does anyone else have any
Thank
questions?
you. And if you ever need any help,
Sure, ma'am.
yeah, if anybody on this webinar ever needs any help, my email is skland@ieee.org. I will do my best to help you. Anybody that's ever emailed me knows that. If I can't help you personally, I'll try to find the right folks to help. So my email is always open.